And hello, happy and beautiful and blessed Mars Day. Happy Tuesday. Let's naturally see what the vibe is. Another gloomy day today. The Tower flipped over. The Tower that focuses on, a sudden disruption, a catalyst, a sudden realization, a life-altering kind of moment, but just something happening suddenly, right? Because with the Tower, right, with it crumbling down or whatever, it's kind of just like a certain kind of foundation, more or less, kind of being eradicated or just no longer existing and whatnot, right? So perhaps something that it's just like the feeling of just like something perhaps that it's just, okay, think of it just like this, something that you were once comfortable on, sitting on or whatever, that thing no longer existing and whatnot, and because it no longer exists, that kind of causes like a sense of redirection or just something of that nature. So we have the Three of Wands here in reverse, the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, and the Eight of Cups in reverse. So beautiful. And then we also have the Death here in reverse. All right. And I love that we have the Star card here as well. So with the Eight of Cups being in reverse, right, that also adds to like the Eight of Cups being in reverse and the Death in reverse. That's the energy of kind of being resistant to change, right? It's energy of being way too comfortable where you are, right? The Eight of Cups, that's kind of just wanting to stick through something, because the Eight of Cups, that focuses on like a journey ahead, moving forward, letting something go, emotional maturity, right? It's a realization that whatever the situation or whatever something is, that it no longer serves a purpose, or like it's just time to go, right? But sometimes we don't want to leave something because, like I said, we are just comfortable, right? Because like leaving something that where we're comfortable at, can be like quite literally sometimes triggering, because then that requires us to kind of see beyond what we've already been seeing. Because with the Three of Wands, that's like a very expansive kind of energy, seeing over the horizons and whatnot, right? But the thing is as well though too, right, with the Three of Wands being in reverse and the Ace of Pentacles being in reverse, that just feels like energy of a lack of progression, nothing moving forward, nothing happening, right? And what was at the back? The two, I didn't see what was at the back, but we have the Two of Cups, the Hermit in reverse, and the Devil in reverse. So anyway, as I was saying, that's just the energy of something not progressing, right? But the thing is though, right, sometimes we kind of dive into something, or we just kind of accept something at first because like in the beginning it seems like good, it seems appealing and whatnot here, but sometimes like as well too, like in general, stagnation is never a good or a beautiful thing. And there's two things with that, right? Sometimes the self-imposed stagnation where we are being reluctant towards, change, movement, quite literally moving forward or whatever. But there's also the other sense of stagnation, shall I say, that is kind of necessary, but in that sense, do I want to call it stagnation? And what I mean by that is kind of think of it like a hermit kind of period, like a hanged man kind of energy. It's that pause, because we all need pauses, you know what I mean? We can't be always doing things. We need periods of reflection, we need some like alone time and whatnot here. But so naturally with that comes a Tower moment, when we sometimes are, as I was saying, being like a little reluctant towards change, right? When we are too comfortable where we are and whatnot here, when we've attached too hard to a certain kind of experience or outcome, whatever it may be. But nonetheless, we have the Star card at the top of the deck. And that's like a very optimistic kind of energy. Frogs have been prominent. I've been seeing frogs. I'm not really sure what frogs really symbolize, but frogs have been prominent and whatnot here. And then in this deck, it describes this ballerina as like she's put so much time and energy and effort into practicing and everything of this nature that like, it's basically already become like her nature. It just flows so naturally to her to be this and whatnot. But the thing is with the Star card like as well too, that kind of just focuses like as well too like on like a gift, or like it can focus on like destiny or fate or something of that nature, if that makes sense and whatnot. So it's not that this thing has always been within her, right? But she just needed to really work it through, or just, I don't know how to describe it, but I hope it makes like sense and whatnot here, right? And the thing is, whatever it is that you are in pursuit of or wanting or seeking, it's already, I know it's easier to hear than like, whatever, but it's already inside of you. But you really need to really put it into practice, but you also need the right environments, communities, whatever it is, wherever it is that you were or what was happening, it wasn't allowing this star energy to bloom, if that makes sense, right? The Two of Wands, and that's a very bold energy. It's moving forward, being confident, going to the beat of your own drum here. And wherever it is that you were, what was happening, whoever you were around, or was happening internally, right, was just blocking and, like I said, just interfering with, you blooming. I always say as well too, Tower moments feel like a divine intervention as well too. Sometimes there's some kind of quote or something just talking about like, I had to make you uncomfortable or else you wouldn't like have moved or whatever, but like the divine intervention, right? And then we have the Knight of Cups. Things need to be removed for that kind of that fresh and inspired kind of energy to kind of start flowing back in. You know what I mean? The Ace of Cups, and I also saw the Queen of Cups and whatnot here, right? It's the energy of like a lot of murkiness being removed, a lot of stale energy. So, I was gonna just be like, welcome change with a smile, because no matter how much we try to resist it, change is inevitable or whatever, but we can keep ourselves stuck. But who wants to be an energy of just murkiness, of staleness and whatnot here, right? Change is a beautiful thing, because on the other side of that change, of that shift, of that tower moment, are the things that we've been seeking. It's really a step closer to our heart's truest desire, dreams, But yeah, the frog seems prominent. I've been seeing frogs, I think that's all I need to say. The Eight of Swords being in reverse, freeing yourself, a liberating kind of energy, right?